Friday video, but I put one out a little while back. I've got several more to make, but I wanted to do a quick live deal showing you what I got going on. Now, you guys may have remembered, we set out about a year. We were doing RC car racing. You can make out we've got RC cars. We're doing a little bit of weightlifting. Hopefully this video, I don't know how well the reception will come in down here. But what I want to talk about real quick is what's going on and what's upcoming at Bass and Bonsai. Stick around, fishing wise. What I'm doing right now, I'm getting ready to go fishing tomorrow. So I'm taking and I'm balancing some of my rod and reel clothes. If you guys may remember, this is the 661. I've talked about it forever, the Kying Teton. And I balanced that by putting a different handle on. I added some weight in the very bottom and I got it balanced. Well, I've had this rod since last year. It's over a year old, but I haven't even used it. I just now took the plastic off. You can see it's real new looking, but I want to balance this because when you try to hold this thing, it's very tip heavy. So how do you do that? Well, I'm just doing a temporary balance, and I'm just going to show you a quick way what I've come up with right now. Now, to get to where I wanted to be, I went to 40 wood bait and tackle, but any kind of weights will work, lead weight. So I got 10 of these half-ounce weights. So I proceeded to take tape and just taped on the back until I came up with, let me switch hands. Basically 1 ounce is what it takes for this rod to have what I feel is a balanced feel for me. It's still 1 ounce makes it to where it balances with my 2 fingers under here. It still is actually, no, it's about perfect. When I added another half ounce, although it lets me balance it dead center, it adds, you can just feel the weight then. So what it does, it feels just like this rod right now. So that's the way this one's set up. With my 2 fingers, basically, it balances perfect and it feels super lightweight that way. It doesn't feel tip heavy at all. And so that's the way this Dragon feels. It's a 6'8". It's a little bit longer. So I took the 2, it's basically 1 ounce. So, okay, how do you get that on here? Normally, I would drill a hole or whatever, and I would stick it up inside and glue it in or whatever. But I'm not sure if I'm even going to like this rod and keep it, so I may want to sell it. The guys I'm selling to may not want it like that. So what I've done is simply take this weight, and I took my 45-pound dumbbell and just smashed them down. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2 of these, which is the same amount as 2 of these on the end, 2 of these on the end, and I'm just going to tape them for now. So I'm just going to take 2 of these and I'm going to tape them right on the end. I'm just going to attach them like that on the end, and that'll be balanced. And while I was in the process of messing around with that, I'm going to do the NRX also. I took my 802. Is that a focus? That will not focus. Anyway, that is the G Loomis 802C extra fast. And I found out that it balances perfect with 3. I mean, it has a crazy awesome feel. Better than this. You know, I've talked about balancing them before, but they always, almost all of your rods, especially when you put a very lightweight reel on them, just have a tip heavy feel. Anything over, you know, close to 7 foot, 7'3", 4, they all feel tip heavy. So anyway, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go fishing tomorrow. And the main thing I'm going to be doing is, look forward to, I got a video, I made it, I haven't put it out yet. I actually took this lure killer, big trout, and we put that up against the 522 Super Ultralight. And honestly, I feel they're close to the same. Whoa, Jesus, I got too many rods over here. But if you guys may remember the 522 SUL, which it'll be very hard to get this guy to focus. But I took it and I ended up, this is a rod I broke at one point. And I just took it apart. Can you tell where I fixed it there? Right there. I took it apart, fixed it because I broke it, and it still works just as good. I took it out up against the SUL in kind of a heads up shootout video. We also, in the process, I did a shootout between the purple spool. And if you notice in this one, my old PW100, guess what? purple spool, because when it comes down to a true 16th ounce, the purple spool, the ounce difference makes a difference. The older spool isn't as good as the newer purple, which is an ounce lighter. So if you guys follow the channel or follow the AliExpress stuff, PW100 is still my favorite reel as of right now. And what I want to throw out there is I've got the, and you guys, and also if you guys don't, I'm sure you guys follow the reel test. If you don't, look up his channel. He does crazy more videos as far as just on reels, not as much fishing as I do, but he's done a lot of the BFS ones, almost all of them. But he has videos out already on the lingle and one he's going to get. Well, right before I went to his channel, because I was getting back into it, and I wanted to find a perfect, you probably heard me talk about it last year. I wanted to find a perfect reel to go with my kind of just a lucky find Tatula rod. I came across this Tatula. And also, if you guys know where I can get another one, I've looked. They don't sell them new anymore. What? Oh my God. See that number right there, Tatula? I want another one of these. It's got the, I actually put a different handle on it. But it's 6'10", and mine's about 6'9" now. And I didn't weight it. But I've been looking for, and if you guys can make out the reel seat, I need to fix it a little bit, but I've been looking for a reel that fits right on this. Like, I just don't like it with the PW100, although I like the reel, I just do not like it on that rod. The Aldebaran I do like on there, but, you know, Shimano Daiwa, you can't mix them like that. So, I saw the lingle, I spotted it, you know, the 7.3 spool. I was like, wow, it's worth trying because it looks like a Steez, right? But it'll go perfect. It's got enough gold. It'll go like, it's like made for this lightweight Tatula rod. So I was like, okay, I'll order it. And then I spotted my nemesis, the Black Knight 2. If you guys remember right, towards the end of probably just over a year ago, towards the end of before I stopped filming for about a year, we tried out, me and Charles both did. I think he ordered one because I talked it up so great. We ordered the Black Knight. That reel, if you guys haven't seen the videos, look for me testing out. That reel let me down. It's supposed to have, I think it had the brake system also. It's supposed to have ceramic spool bearings. I mean, I just thought that was going to be an awesome reel. It was a letdown. It's not a bad reel. It's not a true, what I call true lightweight BFS reel. It struggles some. So they got a Black Knight 2. I spotted that one. It's supposed to have even a lighter spool than the lingle that you guys see out now. So I ordered that one. Well, then a day goes by and I decide, I'd been hearing about this clamber all through the time of me not fishing, and I thought, you know, and I did watch the reel test again on that. I watched his video. I seen he had one out, and I may have watched it back when he first put it out, but I was really out of fishing at the moment. We were racing RC cars. But I was like, I better watch that again and see how small. Because the thing about me, if you guys know me, is I like that feel right here. That balance feel, that palming feel. And I've palmed crazy, like way up. But that feel, there's not a better reel in the world than right there. So, this is close. It's lightweight, but it is bulkier than the Aldebaran. The actual... the Alpha's Air TW I had was actually palmed good, but it was a heavy reel, and it had that little crazy ultra light or super thin spool. Like, this spool scared me. I actually bent it up and I sold it before I completely destroyed it and used it. I'm kind of rough on stuff, so I'm kind of up in the air on getting another one of those. The Alpha's TW, they're like for the super, maybe trout only, crappie fishing only maybe, but for an all-around, I still think this actually is a better reel than it for just an all-around reel that you're not worried about. That spool will take a beating. I still like these, and of course the Aldebaran BFS XG over all of them. Not that there's anything wrong with the Alphas. If you are strictly a small fish, dream fisherman type person, I would say it's probably still the best one. And it does palm good, and everything on it works good. I like the looks of them. if they honestly, the Steve's version of that, if it wasn't double, triple the money of an Alphas, I probably would buy one of those. Or I mean, of the Alphas and the Aldebaran, I'd probably get one, because if you got that Alphas lighter, as light as Aldebaran, then yeah, I would maybe see it. But it's so heavy, and it's only good for the real little bitty rods with a little bitty line and fishing the little bitty stuff. Hey, that one right there will do the same, especially if you get the other spools, the aftermarket spools. And also, what else? Okay, let's just get this video over with. I can't even stay focused. This is a different camera phone than I'm used to making live videos on. So I'm going to get this rigged up, be looking forward to videos, and watch me on the water testing out my balancing trick and see how these feel. And once I get them, the weights on there and out on the water, and I'll do a video with the GoPro, you'll see them how, well balanced. You won't be able to feel them for yourselves, but you'll be able to see me holding them and how they balance. And it is going to take 1.5 ounces. So yeah, you're talking about, and I'll try to remember, I weighed all these rods before. These are lightweight rods. The NRX rods are lightweight. The problem is they are tip heavy. They have compared to I guess a JDM rod, like even these rods, I don't think they weigh any more than Conquerors, but the Conqueror, I actually stuck on it. It only would take, I want to say one, maybe two, maybe half or 1 ounce, but it would take less to balance this Conqueror rod than it would the NRX. It's just the NRX rods, I think, are a touch lighter than the Conquerors, but they are just tip heavy. Uh-oh, somebody asked a question. Hang on, I don't even know how to do this. Talk about line. Have you tried Cast King 13? No. And as far as braid, I haven't even gotten any new braids sent for a while. The last thing I got was the Hercules 8-strand on one of these. And I've never had a problem with Proberos, Hercules, and I think back in the day, Cast King, before they were even I don't even think they were in the state. I don't know. I just remember getting Cast King stuff several years back line-wise. But I will be looking up and trying to figure out what braid. But I will talk real quick, since you brought up the braid, and I've noticed I went to order some Hercules. The price has gone up. The Hercules line used to be cheaper, so I don't know if just word's gotten out and everybody realized it's a good braid for the money. It's still good for what they want, but it was a lot cheaper. The Hercules a couple years ago, I got it real cheap. It's still cheap. I honestly like. And I have more faith in the Hercules brand than I do any other ones, even here locally. If you guys remember, I fished last year when Charles was going down with Charles, but I always went so early that Everhart's was closed, and I had him pick me up some braid from there. And I don't even remember the brand of that braid, but it was junk. And I'm like, unless you're going with the high-end brand, I guess back in the day, I want to say Suffix, and I always use Power Pro, but until I went to the Slick, I just do not like it. When it gets too, I don't know, not like braid, I don't like it, but I still have faith in the Hercules, and I think the only reason I switched to Hercules because it was easier to find the colors I wanted in 8-strand than the Proberos. But the Proberos off AliExpress and the Hercules, I still would recommend those. I haven't tried any other new stuff. I don't know if I'm going to order anything or not. And you guys would know, and if you're new to the channel, I fish with a braid to a leader on everything. BFS, regular stuff. I believe in the lightest, shallowest spool, even on my regular stuff, like MGL spools, SV spools. I don't do any crazy, I'm not ever out trying to do super long distance casting, and that's about the only time. It just makes it easier if you're getting in a little spot, or you're, are trying to skip, or, you just have a bad cast. It's easier. Braid, you can if you have a horrible, you guys have seen me do it. I've reared back, cast as hard as I could, and I hung the back of my boat, the Bimini top. Crazy backlash with even braid, but I can get it out. If that would have been fluorocarbon, first of all, you usually backlash fluorocarbon, it kinks somewhere, and that line's weak, and I stay away from it. But that's kind of the main reason I go to braid only. You can go, especially on these BFS reels, they works out perfect. If you're worried about extra distance, just go with. So if you're running 6 pound line, but another thing, I only go to 10. It's about as low as I go. I think this stuff I think some of these are 10. One of them is 15. But 10 to 15 pound braid is so thin and almost perfect for especially 8 scale. 8 scale. I'm thinking gas cars. 1/8 ounce or even heavier. There's, it's, I don't know. Once you get so thin and braid, I think you're just shooting yourself in the foot by how hard it is to handle and work. Yes, it's going to get a better cast, but even when it comes to untangling it, if something were to happen, it's just 10-pound braid is about as small as, well, my eyes, even with glasses on, will want to deal with working on, tying knots or any of that stuff. And 10-pound braid is thin enough to cast a 16th ounce, 2 gram, probably 1.5 grams. I don't know about all the way to gram baits very well. Maybe then you would want to go smaller. But when you're talking, 4, 6, 8 pound braid, that stuff, plus it'll cut you. Like the chances of wrapping it and then just getting cut, that stuff is hard and thin, and I'll cut my fingers with 10-pound braid enough that I don't want to go much thinner than that. If any of you guys know what I'm talking about, you go to pulling on something or tugging or even tying a knot, you can accidentally cut your fingers. So it's just something to think about. I'm not going to talk you out of using it, but I'm just telling you I don't. Smallest braid I go to is 10-pound test, and then I'll go from there with my leader to usually 6, 8, or 10 in all my BFS stuff. If clear water, 6-pound, I use P-line original. That's another thing I'll tell you real quick online before I get out of here. I still have P-line original is my leader material. 6, 8, and I think I only got 15. I think I lost my 10-pound spool. I don't know. One of these kids wanted to use it for stringing up Christmas lights or something, and somehow it's gone. But I haven't even thought about trying any other, because this all works. Like what I'm using has worked fine. Yeah, the purple reel, these are both this is the one that's all purple, comes that way. The updated ones, I think they're still like $65, and this is the original PW 100 with the spool that I believe you can still track these down for like $15, the upgraded spool, if you've got the original one. It is better for the super light stuff, but if you're throwing, say, 1/8 ounce and up to 1/4 or whatever, you're bigger, even like a true 16th ounce jig with a soft plastic on it, the original spool that comes with PW 100, you won't see much of a difference between it and the purple one, or even most of these, even the Aldebarans. Like if you're throwing a bigger bait, it's not a big performance issue with any of these. The GH 100, the Phantom, the PW 100s, the Aldebarans, the Alphas, any of the air reels. Like it's hard to tell any difference. It's when you get to that true 16th ounce and even a touch lighter, like say 2 grams and lighter, 1.5 grams, and you see the reel test always talking about the 1 gram trout magnet. That's when the lightest spool possible starts to come into play. I've noticed that if I come out here and do a shootout test like I did with the Air TW, when I had my ALC BF7, it won all the shootouts. But then when it come to like just consistency and throwing bigger baits, then it would lose to like the Aldebaran. That's because it's got the lightest spool, so at that lightest bait I could get further distances. Same thing like I did with the Alpha Air TW. But then you say you put on an 1/8 ounce or a 1/4 ounce. Like I just want to upsize a little bit, and I'm throwing a little, I want to be able to do it with the same rod. I want my BFS rods to be a little, a bit versatile. I want to be able to use them for other stuff than one specific little size bait. And the ALCs struggle. I don't have one here, but I'm just pointing. The Abu Garcia reels, I guess due to the brakes is what the reel test says, and I would probably have to agree. And the even the Alpha's Air, they just kind of struggle. I don't know what it is, how to explain it. They're just harder to cast multiple size and weight baits. That the Aldebaran, and even really this reel isn't that bad, but it's got the same style brakes. It's just I don't know. I think it's just in the right wheelhouse as far as the stuff goes. When you get too light, that's one thing we'll have to see when I do get the new lingual and the new Black Knight, and for that matter, the clamber. I'm going to get them out as soon as they show up. We're going to buzz them up against both these reels. I'm going to probably do a huge 5-way shootout. We're going to see which one's best at little bitty weights, which I'm guessing whatever the lightest spool from there up, will do that. But then which one can go up from that to an eighth, even a quarter. I'll probably throw a 1/4 ounce too, and we'll see, if those reels, how they are to this. The main thing I want to find out is if they cast close enough to this one and any of them are a smaller profile, just feel better in hand than the PW, they'll win. They just need to get close. But so far, the reels I've tried, and I don't have a GH100, never have. I should get one, but what scares me is I got the Phantom, and check that out. I got videos on it also. The Phantom is supposedly the same thing as the GH100. It's just that purple version, basically. And it had a huge, crazy gap in between the spool and the frame. And I'd 10-pound line would go in and get caught. And so it scared me off from getting a GH. But that Phantom reel, I have to admit, it felt good in hand. It had a better, that's another thing you guys have noticed. I've added this on all these. The brake thumb bar itself, clutch thumb bar itself, set better, set more like these the Shimano's. It almost shaped like this and set up higher to when you hit the button, it just puts your thumb higher up onto the spool. And it just was a smoother, better feeling reel than these. It just was heavier, bulkier, and then that the gap is what turned me off from the Phantom. And then I thought the Black Knight was going to be perfect. I got that one, and that reel was just a nightmare. It felt not as smooth as these reels. The bearings whined and made noise, which I understand. Hybrid ceramics are supposed to be kind of noisy, but then the spool just was horrible. And if you looked at it, it was built like a tank. Same thing with that. I believe the Phantom was kind of, you can tell those spools will take a beating. I wouldn't be afraid to throw 20-pound braid and put them on any kind of rod, because those spools are stout compared to this or any of the higher end, lightweight spools. They're definitely getting thin enough now where you got to be a little worried about too tight a drag and go to yanking. Say with straight 15-pound braid, you might be able to kink all of these spools. But that the Phantom I had, it had a stiff. That's why I said I put 15-pound braid on it. And at one time, I think I sold it to Charles. I was going to use it for just one of my bigger rods. I was going to put on a medium heavy rod with that 15-pound braid. It held enough line. You could get a good long cast out, and it cast excellent. Cast heavy baits, light baits. Maybe not as good as this, but it cast down to fairly lightweight bait real well. But then it cast heavy baits real good too. You could switch them out. Didn't have to change brakes or anything. It was a good reel for casting, just the line deal. All right, I got to get out of here. I got to get this stuff all rigged up. What my deal for tomorrow is I'm going to kind of put the Dragon, not only just checking out balance, I'm going to put it up against, because it has almost the same capabilities I'm thinking of as the Teton 661. It's a little more of like a crank type rod, a little more give to it, but not much more give. The 661 is pretty much of a, I guess, mid-flex rod. It's not even I wouldn't even call it a fast action. It's more mid. So I got to get them rigged up, and I may even throw in my old, my Lucky rod, just so I got all rods that are about the same. It's kind of a shootout between one-piece rods, two-piece rods, all that kind of stuff. But if you guys remember this one that I made, that's my Lucky rod. I may throw it in the mix and put some on it. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. But stay tuned. Bass and Bonza, we're back. We're in the garage, Bass Cave, whatever you want to call it. Mad scientist in his laboratory working on BFS stuff now. Got the RC stuff, put it away. It's all over. We have more RC cars than we need. So they're going to be for sale too. But anyway, we're getting back in it. Let's go. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. I need a budget, 7-foot 2-piece BFS micro guides preferred suggestions. Boy. Nope. I will say, micro guide. I don't know. I don't like micro guides. I will tell you about micro guides. If you're using just a fluorocarbon and you're not worried about liters going through guides, then micros are pretty good. And these micros, you got to watch how small they get. Like these on the, if you guys can make that out, on the Teton rods, those guides are perfect. Like my little leader, and I don't even use FG. Now FG knot sucks in my book, but my leader knot goes through those real good. Just you got to watch on some of those. The have you tried out the Dragon that I'm talking about here? It's 6'8". It's not 7 foot. Well, if it would focus, let me set it down on the table. 6'6", 2 to 10 grams, 2 to 8 pound line. But this is I'd call it a very, I don't know, mid flex. Like if you want to run the real little cranks, but it's a L, it's a light, so it's going to have more power. Like when you, I don't know, like if you guys have watched any of my videos, I think it should do what the 661 does. It should be able to throw the little cranks perfectly. It's kind of like a miniature crankbait rod, in my opinion, is what it kind of feels like. It's got a lot of give, so it'll cast lightweight lures. Yet it's the whole rod. It doesn't have a super light tip. It's just the whole rod is light. So the main thing about whatever you throw is when you go to set a hook, if you use too big a hook, you're going to have to, pump the rod hard. I mean, when you set the hook, you're going to have to yank, but then it's going to have the whole rod flexing to, help keep fish pinned. So like for more treble baits, it definitely is going to be perfect for that. You have to try it out on like, say, the, micro and mini chatterbaits. Yeah, that's what, I don't know if you've tried hang on a second. I was going to try to show you let me see. We got trash everywhere. I don't know if you can make out, but I'd say about, I don't know, little, not quite halfway, about a quarter, a little over the way down, it starts to get quite a bit heavier than a normal BFS rod. It's definitely not soft like the ultralights, like the Lure Killer, the Teton 632, which I think it's considered an ultralight. But it's definitely not as stout as, where's my rod at? I got rods falling all over the place here. But if you're wanting something to like throw, I guess, shaky heads, jigs and stuff, you can't find them anymore, but basically the Kind Conqueror, this is 6'5". It says light. Let me see if I can get the focus. But if you can make that out, the Conqueror lineup is definitely a stouter lineup. Thanks, Bill. My name ain't Bill. Does this guy think he's talking to? Nah, I'm just playing. My name ain't Bill, though. The only thing about the Conquerors is I have broke a couple. But I will admit, most of them I was using bigger line than they recommended, and I'm pretty hard on rods. But yeah, if you've tried the Tetons and those were too soft, you probably won't like the Dragon. I tried the ProFlex 2s back when I got this Dragon, and the guy, I don't know, he tried to screw me around. But the Dragon is definitely a softer, more of a softer rod than the ProFlex 2 is what, from what I hear. I haven't actually tried the ProFlex 2, but that's what the word out was. So I was going to get the Dragon for like my cranks, and the ProFlex 2 to, like, you know, find something a little bit stiffer than the 661 or close to the Conquerors. I did spot, I don't even remember the name of it. I spotted a 7-foot one on AliExpress. It's only $13.99 I ordered. I also do have a couple more rods coming, but they're nothing special, just like the cheap ones you see on AliExpress. And I can't suggest them. I got to wait, get them in. I'll, you know, try them. If they break or are good, then I'll show you guys. But I have heard things about this Dragon. It's supposed to be a pretty good rod, and it feels like it'll be good for cranks. I may try it. It'd probably be good for Ned rig too, like your smaller single hooks, TRD, Ned rigs type stuff. But as far as, yeah, that's what I'm hearing. A lot of these things, just like if you guys, the real test, he loves that Ace Hawk CU double thing. I ordered one of those. I took it out of the box and snapped it like it's just doing a test flex thing. I don't know. It broke like under not even a pound of pressure probably. I don't know if it was in shipping or whatever, but I was like, yeah, $25. I'm not going to spend another $25 just to see. So I haven't ordered any other thing, Ace Hawk. But I've managed to break every one of my ultralight rods. The Lure Killer came with 2 tips. I broke one. The 522, which is a super ultralight, I've managed to break it. The 632 Teton, finally didn't break it. My girlfriend broke it. 661, the one-piece Kind Teton's the only one that I have not broke. And then some of my the Conquerors I haven't managed to break. This rod here, the original handle, the original rod that it came all the way, that color all the way out, I broke 2 of those. Those were not good. I don't recommend them at all. But man, they got this cool, and they were only like $25. And for all this cool handle stuff you get, it's like worth that just to get it and take it off and put on another rod. So that's what I did basically. I took the Lure Killer. I didn't like the length. I thought it should be longer. So you can see right there where I butted them together. So now I have a 6-foot, I don't even know how tall this is. I'm 6 foot, and it's probably an inch or 2 taller than me. So I added about 2 inches to the 6-foot rod basically. But it gave it a way, even though that's like that, it's just a way stouter grip than the original Lure Killer came with. The Lure Killer came with a very small handle, but this isn't bad. It feels solid. You're holding it the way it's wrapped. You're still holding solid, and you cast. It looks real cool, and it fishes good. It's got a good balance. The way that's heavy, you can. It's actually like perfectly balanced. It balances like right in the middle of the reel. It's about as perfectly balanced as you can get a rod and reel combo with like a 4.8 with the light. But it shouldn't matter because it balances right in the middle. So no matter how much weight you add right here in the center, it should be perfectly balanced in a ultralight. The Lure Killer is a good rod. I've watched Charles catch a lot of fish. I've caught a lot, but you'll see it in the upcoming video. I tried to boat flip basically and bent the rod all the way back like a 1-pound bass, and you do not want to do that with ultralight gear. I thought it would take it. I thought it would go, but it broke this far back from the solid tip. So the solid tips will take it. Solid tips, you can almost do whatever. You almost have to bend them in half before they'll break, but the rod itself, about 3 inches back, snapped on that tip. So then when I ordered it, and another thing I looked, the Lure Killers, I can't find it where you can order, because the rod now is like 27 and 20 something to ship. So it's like $45 rod, which if I could get it with 2 of the ultralight tips, I would order another one, but I can't find where it lets me do that. When I originally ordered this, I want to say I spent only like $28 free shipping, and I was able to go on there and order it with 2 ultralight tips, which made it way well worth the money. That's one thing I'm finding out about AliExpress. I don't know if you guys comment that, like, if you find something a good deal, you better jump on it, because if enough people find out about it, they'll just either quit, they'll buy it out and they don't make any more, or they jump the price up on it, kind of like I'm finding out with the Teton rods. They've gone up. They were like this was a $100 rod because it's one piece, but the 632s, the 661, they were all, I want to say, like 53 to dollars. Now they're like $78 to $87. So they've jumped up like 20 bucks or so in price, which sucks. And so we're going to try out different rods, reels throughout. I don't know if I'm going to buy any high-end stuff. Yep, I don't know how much actual true info you call it. It's just what I know so far. I wouldn't say that I'm an expert on BFS, but I have done it for several years. I was fishing with this kind of stuff before it was called BFS, you know, and I wasn't the first guy to do it. I just saw some guys, you know, the Daiwas is what caught my attention. The Pixies, the Alphas, and guys were, you know, getting the different spools and stuff. And then Shimano, I think Avail was the first one, or I spotted the cool Avail spools that were coming out for the Shimanos, and the Shimanos were like lighter. The Aldebarans were lighter reels than the Alphas and Pixies even. And then I don't even know where. I don't know. I just decided I needed those to throw the lightweight, you know, stuff like I was throwing, especially 16th ounce shaky heads. Anyway, I got to get out of here. So now it's crazy. BFS is taking off. I think here in the States it's going to pick up. So hopefully this channel picks up. I put one of these kind of videos together, I'll get 1,000 views. I go out fishing and catch like a 5-pound bass, I get like 95 to 120 views. So you guys are killing me. Look at all the big fish I catch. Go back and watch the videos. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I'm gone. And thanks also, I don't know what that even says. I wanted to say shit, please, but I don't, is that what it says? I don't know. See ya.